Yes, yes. Is my microphone working? Is my microphone working?
Yeah, yours is working.
I love that about you.
Okay, thank you for coming. This is the Historic Preservation Commission meeting for Monday, July 22nd. I have an opening statement I better read. Pursuant to Section 13 of the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of the time and place of this meeting was given by posting prominently on the official bulletin board in the municipal complex, 400 Witherspoon Street, a schedule of the regular and special meetings of the Princeton Historic Preservation Commission for the year 2024, which posting is to be maintained throughout the year, and by transmitting a copy of such schedule to the Princeton Packet, Town Topics, Trenton Times, and Comcast Cable of New Jersey, and by filing a copy with the clerk of Princeton, New Jersey. Elizabeth, could you call the roll, please?
Yes. Ms. Satterfield? Mr. Shore? Mr. Endersby?
I'm here.
Mr. Shatskin? Here. Ms. Howard? Here. Ms. Friedman?
Here.
Mr. Pyle?
Here.
Chairperson Capizzoli.
Here. Thank you so much for coming today. We have a major announcement, which is that all of the applications for the Princeton Theological Seminary, that includes 31 Alexander Street, 2527 Alexander Street, 19 Alexander Street, 15 to 17 Alexander Street, 20 and 29 Alexander Street will all be heard in this room tomorrow, beginning at 4 p.m. So we apologize that we were not able to hear them today, but we will be here tomorrow to hear those applications. We will also try to hear the details on 44 Mercer Street, an update. So that's like 90% of our meeting today. We have a staff report, which involves some definitions that our lawyer, Mr. Herbert, prepared for us, but will not be application specific. And then, what else do we have? That's about it. Are we?
Well, there are a few other things that I would like to go over. One was that future HPC meetings,
Oh.
if we'd like to have them in this meeting, if we're able to, at least for 2024. I know that the council, we always have a conflict with the council meetings, so whichever ones we are able to secure, I would recommend that HPC have their meetings in here, and also moving forward in 2025. The other thing that I do want to talk about again later is that there has been a request for HPC to have a special meeting. Can you not hear me?
It's not, it's
Okay,
pretty
the
low, it's not
Is that
good.
better?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
the HPC, an applicant for 22 Parkside, which I believe that the HPC heard their concept plan most recently. She would like to ask HPC if they would have a special meeting for her prior, because agenda for August is already full. So that's another item that I would like the HPC to consider tonight.
All right, well, let's take care of that right away. So if we had a special meeting, another special meeting before August, would anyone be available? I guess
So the August meeting is the 19th.
yeah.
She was told, which was confirmed, that the zoning board could take her application on August 8th, which is a week always after HPC's meeting. So they're available the 28th, so if it could be any time before that. Obviously, not the week of the 19th, but
So-
before that.
Is anyone available on August 12th? Is that the only application, or would we also hear anything else?
We had two other ones, which is going to be dictated by what we talk about administrative approvals. So I think that's another conversation that we would like to have. At one point, early on when the consolidation, we used to bring every application to HBC that wasn't replacement in kind or signage. And then at that time, the commission had said that they really don't want to see a lot of the window replacement unless it's complete window replacements or important ones that are specific to the street front in the type 2 classification, or siding, because they had already approved so much of those, and they felt that they would like HBC to have that administratively approved and leave the more significant applications to come before them because they were so busy. And that's the procedure that the chair and I had taken at that time with the direction of HBC. So since there's a lot of conversation about details of the buildings now, I think that I would like to have the commission revisit this and see if this is what they would like us to continue to do, or if they'd like a change.
All right, well, first of all, let me just see if people are available.
Sorry.
If folks are available on August 12th for a moderately short meeting. Are there any? Oh, good. So Elric, you can do August 12th. How about you guys? Are you good for August 12th?
I'm good.
Really? Oh, great. So you're good? Okay. So let's schedule a special meeting for August 12th where we can deal with this Parkside application. And then I think we could first, since we have Mike here, let's talk about the definitions page that we were sent. And then after that, maybe we can talk about the administrative review process. Or if you want to put that on the 12th, I guess we could do that too.
I guess it depends on what the commission wants to do as far as administrative approvals. I mean, if they feel that they want to dial it back, we can have that on the 22nd. They are two small applications, both on Nassau Street. It's in the commercial, the central district. Or if they feel that it's something that could be administrative approved, then we could do that, because they're both ready to go, either way.
All right, so let's first talk about the memo that went out on demolition versus alteration. So, thanks, Mike.
And I know members of the public were concerned about any discussions that could involve the theological seminary properties. And again, this is. Can you hear me now? Yes. Boy, my old swim coach voice is not projecting. I can't believe that. My apologies. Oh God, maybe I am getting soft. Okay, so we are staying away from discussing the theological preservation property, the Theological Society properties. But I know that in general, when we've had these applications, whether it be 344 Nassau, am I still not projecting? Or? Okay. Everyone hear me okay? This question is constantly coming up of what is demolition, what is alteration. And I sent out a memo that did also include, talk about the Theological Society properties, but again, we're not focusing on those today. But it talks about what are alterations. And we look at the code, and repair, replacement, and other renovations to a home in a historic district simply do not trigger the demolition ordinance, which is T10B 390, just because something is proposed. The proposed changes aside from, the proposed changes can include just a replacement or removal of siding and windows, are also can also be considered alterations pursuant to 10B1, which defines alter as to change appearance of exterior elements of a structure, including changing the materials used and removing paint. So when the argument is that if you're removing pieces of a building, whether it be siding or windows or, the roof or a door, things like that, that's not demolition under our code. They are alterations as I interpret the code. And then if you look at what demolition is, and you look under that, as far as the municipal land use law goes, there's nothing in the municipal land use law, and that's what we're really based on here, is we use municipal land use law as really our basis, because we refer with our advice matters to both the administration for administrative review and to the planning and zoning boards for their review. Our job is to be a board of expertise and provide guidance for either the board or the administration. So when you look at what demolition means, it talks about in the MLUL, it talks about in the ordinances that it means to partially or completely take down a structure or part thereof. And again, that's where we have sometimes the issues with siding, windows, roofing, doors, things like that. While the term demolition is not defined in the MLUL, Merriam-Webster does define it as to tear down, raise, or to break to pieces. Further, the term part, and again, that's also in the black letter law dictionary as well, which is what we also look to. Further, the term partial destruction is not defined in the municipal land use law, but it does talk about what total destruction is in various cases. And I was actually involved in one of these cases, the Motley versus the Borough of Seaside Park. I'm special counsel for the Borough of Seaside Park. And in the Motley case, and I always like to use that because Motley Cure, and I see Motley, I think just a really cool last name, sorry. In essence, the test is whether or not the non-conforming, there was a non-conforming use or structure to be restored or repaired, is whether there's been some quantity of destruction that suppresses the partial, that surpasses the partial destruction. And there, that involved a 3-story building where 2 of the floors were taken off. It was a non-conforming structure, and the borough says, well, you can only go back up to 2 stories because that's what's conforming, because you've already destroyed 2/3 of the building, or actually it's even more than 2/3, it's 3/4. And the court upheld that. So that's when we talk about demolition. Again, under 10B 37(8) of the Princeton ordinances, it states that no person within a historic preservation zoning district or historic preservation buffer zone shall construct, alter, move, demolish, or elevate a structure or take anything requiring site plan review or take any action requiring site plan or subdivision review, or make any other improvement to the land except in conformance with the preservation plan approved pursuant to. And that's the preservation plan that we all look at, the various sections here in the municipality. So when we look at those, we have to decide, is it a construction, alteration, move, demolition, elevation, things like that. And so the ordinance does talk to those different things. It is distinguishing demolition from alter and some of the other things. So we just want, my memo just goes through that, and feel free to read it. I guarantee you, by the time you're done this, if you have insomnia, you will not have insomnia any longer. But, on page 4, it talks about, again, demolition of a structure in a historic zone. Again, the onus that is placed upon us is it can only be approved, it shall be approved only if the structure cannot be put to a reasonable use or its preservation will impose a financial hardship on the applicant. So again, that's what we have to take into account when we do our decisions here. So whether it's demolition, alteration, or anything like that. Anyone have any questions?
Right. Are there commission members who want to seek any clarity on this memo? I assume everybody got a chance to look at it before. Do you have a question or anything, or? Looked at it. Okay. All right.
And again, we're going to be meeting again tomorrow night. I asked again for all you insomniacs to take a look at it. And any questions you want to ask me. And again, this discussion can continue tomorrow night as well. to, if we want to talk about it with regard to the theological properties.
All right. Thank you so much. I thought it was, I did not fall asleep. Okay. So, okay. Well, hang on. I'm going to hang on for public comment because I'm just going to go into the next thing and then we go to public comment and then we can wrap it up because that's all we've got going on today. So, as far as the administrative review issue, did you want to, as a commission, did you want to handle that now? Do you want, I think the question Elizabeth and I have is, do you think the current system is working or did you want to revisit it? And if you do, what changes do you want to make?
Staying within the parameters of our town ordinance.
Right.
Julie, I wouldn't mind if it was in some way published. What you and Elizabeth are, application for blah, blah, blah. We'll put it on administrative review, plan to get it done this month or whatever it is. Just we know the projects.
Oh, like an email that would come from Elizabeth to the commission members?
That'd be fine by me. I don't know if that satisfies other rules, but
I mean, Elizabeth.
I'm sorry, what are you asking, David?
So David is wondering if, before there is an administrative review, if there can be an email to all the commission members saying that this is what we're going to review, and then I guess wait to see if anyone objects?
Well, I think probably the easiest way is once the application comes in, instead of waiting till it's almost ready, because that could
Oh, yeah,
take
that's
a
true.
while for people to respond.
So for scheduling reasons, yeah, if we could then.
Once they come in, I think the easiest thing is to say, okay, these are new applications come in. They'll probably be reviewed administratively. Please let us know if there's any issues with it. That
Yeah.
way, at least we'll be able to do the incompleteness or completeness. But if we wait until the end where it's going to be deemed complete, people are busy. I don't get a
Right.
response very quickly, and it could be weeks. And
Right.
then their time frame has expired.
Oh, I wouldn't want there to be an extra burden on time frame or delay. I think it could be the format of, this has come in, and if you have a comment or something as a commission member, there's a 48-hour window to make that. I mean, we all have email, we all look at things wherever we are. Look at it and say, yeah, that's fine, or that's, but, maybe we do know
I'm
something.
going to
around
assume
next
if
week.
there's no comment, that there's no comment.
I'm sorry?
Right.
I'm
so
going to
it-
assume that if no one responds within 48 hours,
Right,
that there's no
That would be the
comment.
purpose, yeah.
Right, so I think that's fine. But it's Elizabeth who's got to write the email, because she's got to summarize it and then send it out. So Elizabeth, are you okay with this process? And do you feel like 48 hours is too long? Do you want to make it shorter, or?
I think 48 hours is fine, especially once we begin the application. It would have been easier when we had an administrative assistant, because she used to take it in. We are short-staffed. We no longer have that person.
Right.
So it's just another something that has to be done.
Right.
That position's going to be refilled, it's just a vacancy right now? I mean, I hear what you're saying, I don't want extra,
Well, it's a
Work delay.
vacancy. When it's going to be filled,
Hmm?
I said it is a vacancy. Not sure when it's going to be filled. We haven't started interviewing yet.
well, maybe we could do a commencement on when that position is filled.
I couldn't hear. I
So
couldn't-
would we, David's suggesting that we would start this policy when you hire an assistant. So until then, do you want to just keep doing it the way we're doing it? And then when we get the assistant, have the assistant write the email?
Yeah, it'll be a step up at any rate.
Yeah.
For commission members, and try not to have it be an extra burden, or too much of a burden on Elizabeth.
Okay, does that sound good to you? I mean, it's obviously, we're all working together here.
Right. So you're saying that until we have a new administrative assistant to just do as we're doing right now, is that correct?
I can't imagine asking for more than that.
Okay, so the commission still wants to go ahead with the way that we've been doing it. Is that correct as well?
Until such time, yeah.
Until we get more help. Is that right? Okay. All right, that was our agenda. I'm going to open things up for public comment. So take it away.
Good afternoon. Is this it? Testing? Okay.
That's good.
Good afternoon. My name is John Kerr, and I live at 42 Mercer Street. And my first question is whether this memorandum will be posted so it's publicly available?
That is up to the commission to put. Right now, it's attorney-client privilege, but the commission it's up to the commission if they want to put it up.
Okay, I think it'd be helpful so that we're all on the same wavelength. Secondly, I think this commission has recognized it wants to avoid, again, what happened at 22 Edge Hill. And if what happened there is not considered demolition, I think you need a new description for that kind of renovation where 100% of the historic material is stripped from the building. And we've been over that episode with the commission back in June, and it was pretty clear to us the commission did not realize when they approved that application the extent of the stripping that was going to take place. So I think in fairness to yourselves and in fairness to the public, you need something in your HPC application that warns you of the extent of the removal of historic material. The public needs to know that too. So maybe it's a different box, maybe it's something in the application so that it simply doesn't say in one line, siding will be removed, because that doesn't tell you what's really going to happen. My second comment goes to the administrative review process. I've had a career of over 40 years practicing in the area of historic preservation, and I have chaired a number of historic preservation organizations. I represent in litigation the National Trust for Historic Preservation, the New York Landmarks Conservancy, and many other civic organizations. And the principles that we're dealing with in Princeton, in your ordinance, are really universal principles. The idea that you don't remove historic fabric from a building unless it's absolutely essential, and that you have a conditions assessment before you do that. I'm concerned about the administrative waivers. There is, in my experience, an inordinate reliance by this commission on administrative waivers. I'd like to understand how you use them, what triggers them, but the notion that a recent incident where a building in the historic district was permitted to be stripped of all historic fabric on Mercer Street was done by administrative waiver, which means there was no public notice of that decision, and as far as I know, no opportunity of you commissioners to really analyze what was going on there. So I think you need some safeguards to make sure that when an administrative waiver is proposed, that it is for something insignificant and something for which there is no debate. Thank you. I'd be happy to answer questions if you have any.
All right, thank you. More public comment?
Yes, Joe Butler. I just want to reiterate some of what Mr. Kerr said, but in support of making the memo public. I don't know how we can have a sort of fully formed conversation if we can't get our hands on that memo before tomorrow. So I hope you'll make the decision. Maybe you could post it. I also, David is being quite kind to say that he wants to wait until Elizabeth has an assistant. But I really think the commission and maybe Mr. Newland could step up and do some advocating on behalf of Elizabeth to get more help. I mean, it seems, what are you going to tell people when these historic artifacts are destroyed? Well, we didn't have enough help, or, you know, we didn't have an assistant. David's being quite kind, but I don't think that waiting for the municipality to get their act together to hire somebody should be the right marker. And I know Elizabeth has a lot on her plate, and I know, David, that's kind not to want to put more there, but we are dealing with, the municipality has exposure here, I think, legally, and it's the community's loss, so we need to advocate for Elizabeth. I also would be interested when you talk about alteration, at what point are there enough alteration that it does become demolition? Like, where are the lines? That is where it starts to get tricky, right? If you just look at, well, that's a window, this is, one little thing, that's one little thing, but at some point there's a cascading effect, and the overall integrity of the structure is lost. So I hope we can see the memo. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Are there other comments?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Seth Melman, Riverside Neighborhood. I'm just curious, could you explain again why we're not talking about the seminary today?
The planner changed the meeting. There's a hearing tonight.
There's a council meeting tonight, and it was decided that it would be better to have the hearing tomorrow.
So there's
Have the hearing after the council meeting?
Yes.
Are they
Because
gonna
if we were to have it now, it would run into the council meeting.
Okay, and are there any decisions that are going to be made tonight that are going to
No.
affect that? Okay.
No, we're not making any decisions except for,
I see that a little differently. It is, they're making a decision on an
Ordinance, correct?
Right, but it does involve the redevelopment. There is the historic property that's involved, 92 Stockton, and the redevelopment of an inner gateway, which actually is well on out.
That's the council meeting.
yeah, we're not, but we're
That's not
not,
us.
at our meeting right now, we're not making any decisions.
The personnel, they've got the planner, and
Right.
it's going to be,
All right.
it's a long discussion for tomorrow, but it's also a long discussion tonight.
Okay, so we're going to finish up our meeting here, and there is a meeting tonight
Right.
at 7 p.m. If you'd like to attend, you're more than
No,
welcome.
I am planning to attend.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure that, I just wanted to understand the relationship between your meeting tomorrow and the council meeting tonight.
Got it.
My
Okay.
apologies if I made it a little confusing. at
Right,
some
I got it.
point.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, more public comment. Go ahead.
So my name is Margaret Hickey. I'm a historic preservation specialist. I live in Linden. My office is in Cranford. I was at the meeting last week, but I'm actually just coming as a preservationist in general. So in terms of the definition for demolition, there are a number of municipalities that have HPCs that have been dealing with this. You may want to look at
We
how-
actually represent some of them.
What's that?
My firm represents some of those municipalities.
Right, so I think you might want to look at some of the
We have.
definitions, because Montclair actually talks specifically about the removal of siding as in their demolition specification. And then the other thing is, you might want to, in terms of administrative approval, is set up a subcommittee that could be assistance, and maybe it's on a rotating basis until you get an administrative assistant, so this way you can widen the burden and have the HPC members come up. So that's been done in other municipalities as well.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, Leighton?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to make something very clear to those assembled here in the audience and anyone within the sound of my voice. For those of you who were here at the last HPC meeting, toward the end of the meeting, I gave a precautionary note when I said, when we were scheduling this meeting today at 4 o'clock, that it was going to be a problem. Did I not? And I said so because I knew that this meeting, based on the last meeting we had, was going to go long, because our decorum and the way we do business was totally and completely disrupted. And I precautioned that today was not a good day for this meeting, because we just can't have this meeting go like the last meeting for 7, 8, 9 o'clock. We don't have that kind of time. We have some business to take care of tonight. So again, there's nothing nefarious going on here. This is about efficiency. So let me make that very clear. Nothing nefarious going on here. This was just a good night for the meeting, and we're going to do this all over again tomorrow, even if you have to be here till 4 o'clock in the morning. Tonight is just not the night. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Leighton. Are there more people who'd like to make a public comment? If not, I think we have a decision to make, and that is if we're going to put the memo from Mike Herbert on the website. Is that possible? And how do commission members feel about that? Yes? 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 You guys? Yes? All right. So everyone is in unison. They would like to have it published on the website. Is that possible, Elizabeth?
And Elizabeth, when you do publish it, if you could just take off attorney-client privilege on there, confidential attorney-client privilege, it's at the top of the memo.
Okay, Mike, do you want to send me a revised one with that taken off?
Remind me of it, and I will
Okay,
make sure.
yes. We can upload that on the website. I'm just wondering where we would put that. I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, I can't attach it to the application, or I could, but it's really not. I could, because it's actually references, there's some reference to the seminary, right? So, I mean, I'd have to put it on every single application.
It does reference the seminary properties as well.
Okay, so I can attach it to each application, similar to the letter that I'd received from Ms. Kerr from the
I
National
can
Trust.
also
I can put
revise
that.
it if you wanted me to make it just a neutral.
I'm
Do you want me to make it neutral? I can take out the seminary property references.
It's up to the commission. I think that it probably speaks to all the applications, but it might be more relevant because it gives me a place to place it in the website.
It's up to
I
the,
think since time is of the essence, maybe it's easier for just Elizabeth to use what she has,
Okay.
block out that one phrase, and then put it with the file.
Mike, if you could just take that piece off about confidentiality, and then I can take that and upload it to the website.
I'll try to get my laptop fired up tonight, and being an old guy, trying to make it work.
All right.
Excuse me, what is it, we're wanting to block out that it says?
It's just
It's-
at the top of the
it
memo,
says-
attorney-client.
No, I want to hear it. I want to. No longer be confidential. Right. So it's no longer confidential. What does it matter if you have it taken off officially? You just strike through it, or it's no longer confidential once you post
Right.
it?
That's-
It's
I know.
no longer, but I'm just
So-
saying, somebody may say, hey, oh, what'd you put this up for? That kind of thing.
Well, the commission decided that.
All right.
Okay. Then
Or
we can just go ahead and
Elizabeth,
release it
I
then.
mean, I'm thinking of time. I'm thinking it's 24 hours till,
Then Elizabeth, and you can put it right up. As long as the board is comfortable with that, or the commission is comfortable with that, that's fine with me.
all right, so we're going to just put it up as it is, and you can attach it to the file so everyone knows where to find it. Right?
Yes.
Okay. So, other than the meeting on August 12th and publishing the memo, are there any other items of discussion?
I guess what we heard from the public is that they want to know, is there an opportunity for us to be able to address all these other applications before we get a new administrative assistant?
Well, I think the suggestion, maybe we could put a subcommittee together to brainstorm about how to approach this. Does anyone want to volunteer to be on the subcommittee? All right, David, Elric. Okay, Roger. David, Roger, and Tom. Okay, we have a subcommittee.
So what
All
does
right.
that mean? Does that
So
mean that
we
they
will-
come into the office?
We'll keep doing what we're doing, but we'll also wait for the subcommittee to maybe weigh in on August 12th. And if they have any suggestions, we can go from there.
Okay, so nothing until August 12th for the
Right.
subcommittee to meet. Okay.
Who will chair the subcommittee, please?
Who's
There's no-
chairing the subcommittee?
No one chairs the subcommittee.
Well, usually it's just a collaborative effort. I've never heard of a chair for a subcommittee. So anyway, all right. So it's only three.
Madam Chair, so there are those other two applications that I said were on Nassau Street, that if it was going to move ahead, depending on how HPC wants to deal with the administrative approval, at this point, we're still going ahead as we're doing currently. Should we review them should we review them administratively, or should I schedule on the August 12th meeting?
Well, let's be on the safe side and put them on August 12th, okay? Just so everybody is comfortable, all right? All right? Okay. All right, so any other business? If not, the meeting will be here tomorrow at 4 p.m. And we appreciate you coming today. Is there a motion to adjourn? Yeah. Oh, thanks, Elric. A second? Roger. Okay. All in favor, say aye. 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 Thank you.